So hello everyone and welcome to Ibi Speaks. My name is Ibinabo Enebi, and this month of November I'm doing a series that I call the BounceBack Series. And this series is born out of the feeling that, you know, the year is almost getting to an end, and some of us may have had, a successful ride while others have had bumpy rides here and there. So I began this series with productivity expert Krista Durojaye speak on It's Not Too Late to Achieve Your Goals, followed by Pastor Femi Atoyebi, who spoke on gaining insight into delays, disappointments, and waiting. My topic for today is scaling through the discomfort of a long wait. And my special guest is distinguished solicitor and advocate of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, a businessman and pastor, my brother and my friend, Pastor Benjamin Atebe.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Yeah. Ben, thank you so much. Now, the outcome of today's meeting would be this. I hope that at the end of our session, that our listeners will be encouraged and would learn from the helpful tips that would come from your experienced expertise on this subject matter. And I want to thank my first-time viewers, my returning viewers. And if you're here and this is your first time of joining me, I want to say a huge thank you. And if you've subscribed to my YouTube channel, thank you very much. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do. It's Ibinabo Enebi. Just 1 second now. Let me see. So you can be a part of this conversation by leaving your comments, your opinions on the comment section below if you're watching via Zoom, and if you're watching via YouTube, in the comments section as well. And please don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So Pastor Ben, once again, thank you very much for coming on Ibi Speaks. And I'll just go straight to the point because we're running late, and I don't want to keep people, people waiting, and all of that. So besides being a husband and a father, you're a pastor, you're a businessman, you're a lawyer, you have an MBA you have a master's in public admin, and you're a member of several institutions. And of course, a member of the Bar Association, International Bar Association, and all of that. And you and I go way, 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 way back.
Definitely.
You're my brother from another mother. Ben, you're one person that I really, really respect a lot. Some time ago, somebody and I, a long time ago, and I told you this, that somebody randomly found out that I knew you, and he says, I know this guy, and this guy is one guy that I know that has a lot of integrity. And I was so proud of you. I had to come back and tell you, Ben, this is what somebody said about you to me. And I wasn't surprised. But anyways, yeah. So one of the reasons why I wanted you to be here to talk about scaling through the discomfort of a long wait was because you have a lived experience on this subject matter. And, like I said in the introduction, I've had several guests speak on the subject matter of delay, waiting, and disappointments. And each guest has a nuance on this subject matter or their own particular perspective on waiting and delays and disappointments. So I also want to hear your own perspective on waiting, delays, and disappointments.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Maybe a very good long stand over the years. I'm sure it's over 20 years or thereabout now. And thank you for the opportunity. And I trust that your husband, Sonny Enebi, will be watching somewhere too. A very great guy that
Thank you.
Went back in those days while the mom was there and my mom was living in Kaduna. You see, it's a small world. I never knew that we were going to cross again. But really, I thank God. So now, back today, and I want to say good evening to those that are watching. And I also join Ibi to apologize for those that actually tuned in much earlier and waiting for us to start. One or two delays happened. So just like Ibi has said, please accept her apologies and as well my apologies. Okay, so talking about the topic today, either whether waiting or delay, I will say that if there's anything that is so difficult to cope with, it's waiting. Because when you talk of waiting, I mean, I had to, when she asked me to speak or just to discuss, what really is waiting? Waiting says stay where you are until something happens, or sort of stay action until a particular event happens. So waiting is not something that is easy, because me, for one, really, I will not say I'm an impatient person, but I don't like keep people waiting. I don't like to be kept waiting, especially for appointments. When I was faced with this challenge, I would say that it was a very, very difficult one to go through. And for me to wait for almost 18 years plus before I could have a biological child, my first biological child after marriage, it wasn't an easy task. But with the grace of God, I was able to wait. And by the way, when I talk about waiting, maybe some of you who check my Facebook page, the miracle, the waiting, the resultant, because later God answered my prayer and I said, I have an 1818 miracle, because the 1818 miracle actually came from my waiting, and that is my daughter. I call her 1818 miracle. So talking about waiting generally, waiting is not, or if you call it delay or whatever, whether delay or something, the truth is that it's a very painful experience. Very, very painful. Very, very painful. Very, very challenging. I must say that, especially if you are now someone that love God, who serve God. I'm not saying that I am holy, I'm righteous or whatever, but I love God. And I serve Him as much as I can. It's not even because people begin to, even behind you, speak. Even if they did not speak directly for you to hear, their body language speaks a lot. And like I always say, the body language of a man speaks more than what they actually say. So while you are there, their body language speaks, even when they are not speaking verbally. So it's, I would say it wasn't easy, especially for me and my wife, for the 18 years or thereabouts. And you see, I come from a family where I would say it's a polygamous family. But I had children from different women and all that stuff. And I happened to be, even though I wasn't the eldest among his children, the one that got married first. So you can imagine how challenging it was after getting married. Those that got married much more later after me, they were having their children and all that stuff. I know. It's, even younger ones that you bring up in your house, they get married, and maybe since we're from I would say polygamous, because I'm the only child of my mom again, so another big challenge, the only child of my mom. So you expect, you expect that my mom, that okay, having an only one child, that child, what she couldn't fulfill by herself, that at least that child will fulfill it for her. That's bring forth children and all that stuff. And I would say, unfortunately, and this delay begin to set in. So this delay, I would say, is very, very challenging, because it affected my relationship with my mom to a large extent, because I believe I had to stand my ground because there was a particular time my mom had to say, oh, look, when this thing is happening, why don't you just go out and try and get it, and impregnate somebody, blah, 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 get another. And I laughed and I said, and I told her, I said, look, that's the last thing that I will ever do. Even my father insinuated it. Quite a lot of people insinuated it. And I just laughed at them. I said, look, it means that you don't know me. I said, I will never that. If this, my wife, Emily, is not going to give me a child, then I will not seek for a child from any other woman. And that is what. And because the truth is that I would say one thing that helped me to cope with this challenge of delay in the area of the fruit of the womb was that, when then I wasn't yet married, but one of the principles of life that I took then as a young man, if I wasn't yet married, I just told myself that it was me and my friend in London. We were talking one day and we were just speaking. I said, look, talking about marriage, and I said, look, 3 things that will not make me break up away from my marriage. I said, money will not be an issue for me, that adultery or whatever, because then I'll say, oh, and he said that, oh, okay, if you catch your wife in how will I say, in an amorous position. He said, what will you do? I said, if I meet them, all I will do is that I will ask my wife, I will walk away, then later and come back, I will ask my wife that come, that man that I saw you with, do you love him? And if my wife says no, yes, that means we are still together. If my wife says, oh, I love him, then it is over. I say, because I just feel that because, we African men, we always feel that it's only the man that can have a sexual urge. And my friend, and then I said, then the other thing is that the issue of children, that look, I'm not married because of children. Yes, it's part of it, but the truth is that it's not the main reason for me getting married. So, so with that at the back of my mind, I mean, with those principles or whatever, I think it helped in a way to cope with the delay, but not that it was easy, because there are times, I remember days that my wife is like as if it has happened this month, whatever, and all of a sudden again, she starts seeing her, I'm sure you understand, she starts seeing her period.
Yeah.
And she starts crying, she starts doing this, I have to console her, and maybe along the line, my mom calls, we call, blah, blah, blah. You go to church, people look at you somehow, look at this one serving God, and this. And I think about 2 or 3 times, I caught some people speaking about myself and my wife, of our lack of children, and we're going on, carrying on as if, oh, we own the world. And I just met them. They never knew that I was going to walk into them, but I walked into them very well that day. And it's like the ground should open. I just smiled and I walked away because she's friends. So they were the ones that were feeling very uncomfortable subsequently. So, but like as I'm saying, waiting is not something, or delay is not something that one can say, oh, it's easy to cope with. At times when I look back, it's the grace of God, because when you are waiting, the truth is that when this delay happens, a lot of things that you are supposed to do, you will not be able to do.
Yeah.
Because the truth is that we gradually, I would say not as if we decided, but inadvertently, we gradually, it's like we're cutting off from people, because the truth is that we don't want to go. Some of our friends, they don't invite us when, okay, maybe they have children, whatever. So we just start, it's like we are now on our own. So, and that's why maybe someone will feel that today, Ben and Emily, they don't have maybe close friends of their age strata, but it is because of the challenge that we went through. And you see, when you go through this challenge, the truth is that if you are not careful, your career will suffer, your business will suffer. But we really thank God that in the course of waiting, our careers did not suffer, our business did not suffer. We didn't lose focus on God. you know. So really, like I said, and when you go back, even because I had to read some characters in the Bible who also went through delays. When I looked at people like Hannah, I know it wasn't easy because she had her maid Penina that was always taunting her. And the truth is that even the husband Elkanah, to a large extent, did not even understand the challenges or the pain that Hannah was going through. Because if you go back to the book of 1 Samuel, the husband was telling the Hannah that, am I not more than 10 sons to you and everything? And I think that wasn't a proper thing, because if there's anything that I will say I was able to do for my wife, is to be there to support her. I saw it not just as our own challenge, like a lot of people, African men, I would say African men, are often to see. So even when my mom or those who are close to me on my side will not make it, oh, it's your wife or whatever, and I will tell them, hey, it's not my wife's issue, it is our issue. That it is me and my wife issue. So it's not just something pertaining to me. So there are times we will pray. There are times we'll go people because we were going, I mean, when we pray fast, there are times people will say, okay, because they are concerned. I remember vividly, because interesting, I'm sure a few people have ever heard. So it was for a prayer because we were waiting for the fruit of the womb. I think that must have been like the 15th year or 14th year of our marriage. And they took us to this MFM somewhere very close to Sango there and there. So I think it's my wife's colleague or whatever, the mom arranged. And when I went there, we started praying. They said 3 days fasting. You know, when you believe in God for the fruit of the womb, we went there, we fasted and everything. And as we got there, they said we should prayers should start, blah blah blah. Okay, we were praying, and as they brought a form that we should fill, and if you see that form, the truth is that the form was so long, it had everything. Oh, have you ever stolen a biro? Have you ever stolen that? Have you ever do this? Have you ever done that? Did you eat meat from your mother's pot? Well, taking, you know, so many that if you really answer them honestly, there is, I mean, you're already a deliverance candidate. So that's MFM ministry. So we answered, and after that we filled the form and everything, and we started praying. We started the prayer and fasting program for 3 days, and all of a sudden they said we should start vomiting imaginary objects from our stomach and everything. And I looked, I said, come off it. What is this? Then I think my wife was using glasses, they made her to remove her earrings, and all that stuff. Then I think it got to the second day, and you know, this guy that was leading, I'm not looking down on anybody, this guy that was looking, I just looked back and I said, come on, is it because I'm looking for the fruit of womb that this man would just make me look as if I don't have? And he was talking to my wife anyhow, I said, and I'm saying that you should pray, and shake your head, shake your body, you are not praying or whatever. You know, my wife, you know, because, you know, probably she felt that, oh, she would not want to offend me. But I'm telling you, you know what I did? Immediately the guy finished the meet, I'm the one that just said, okay, it is over. I held my wife's hand. I took my wife.
I know you that.
Straight into the car. Straight into the car. And it's like my wife said, are we going? I said, do you want to stay here or you are following me back to my house?
Oh.
Because the truth is that in waiting, the truth is that, yes, people want to express concern, but at times you just find out that out of their concern is like they want to humiliate you. They want to humiliate you, because that's what I found out. They want to humiliate you. They want to bring you to your lowest ebb and everything. And if you are not careful, the truth is that you begin to live your life based on that, the way they want to bring you down to. Because several times I'm saying from relatives, at times from friends, they then believe that you shouldn't be happy because you are waiting for the fruit of the womb, or there is delay. So when they see you happy, your wife is happy, it's like, what are you happy about? I remember I don't want to meet me say, you are buying cars, what are you buying the cars for? And you know, I said, oh, because we are waiting for a child, I shouldn't own cars. And I said, okay, don't worry, I'll come and give you the cars, come and take them and drive them. So the truth is that it is not an easy experience, but one thing I will say is that with understanding of both partners, with the grace of God, the truth is that you will cope. And like when God answered us, the truth is that, like I said, I will not say that this is the particular pastor that prayed, or this is a particular person that prayed. I just believe that maybe all the prayers that we've been praying, not maybe all the prayers that we've been praying and everything, and God says that it is time, and the time came, because when it came, I was not expecting, me and my wife would say that we had given up. We had given up, but it just came like that. And you know, like when you see, one thing I would tell people is that in the course of waiting, what we didn't do, we went for IVF several ones. I remember a particular doctor in Yaba, he's late now, he's an old man, and we were going, you know, when this delay sets in, the truth is that, like I said, if it's not careful, you lose all your sense of reasoning. And we went to this hospital somewhere in Yaba, and this man is an old man, and he would tell us he started pumping. We never knew. He would say, oh, don't worry, yes, and everything. So all of a sudden, you know, when you've not really experienced pregnancy like that for a long time, whatever. So after maybe like, because we were going there for like 4 or 5 months, and the man was coming and say, oh, he will be showing the nurse one scan. Oh, that's the baby, you are pregnant.
Really?
Say, because we were paying good money. He said, that's the baby. He will come and say, you know, the man was telling us, that everything that we had to do, we have to be in his hospital. Even that the delivery must be in his hospital. Everything must be in his hospital. You know, so, and it's like, but all of a sudden one day, I would say that it's the grace of God, the mercy of God. It's like the scale fell off my eyes. I said, come, what is this? I'm telling us that you are pregnant. Because the truth is that my wife, her body was just swelling. The tummy was swelling, probably from the whatever chemicals or whatever that she was pumping to my wife and everything. So, and I think one day I think my wife also said, look, we need a second opinion. Because the man was making us to believe that my wife was almost 3 or 4 months gone. When I went to another place, you know, with that confidence, I went there so much, we're expecting. Only for my bubble to be busted. When they said, we can't see anything here. Your wife is not pregnant. There's nothing here. We say, but they were doing scanning, bro. He said, what are we going to scan? This is just an empty room. And you know, the truth is that I think about, there were other 2 women or thereabout that we know. And you see, at times when people are going through these challenges, it's only very few people that are bold to share their experience. So this woman, to not knowing that, she was the one that's been going there even before us, because it's actually through her that we started going there, not knowing that she has, and we've not seen her for a while. So when we called her, it was then when we narrated her experience, that she thought that she was the only one that probably we have had this when we started narrating our experiences and everything. So we now found out that later that probably that man, maybe he would have continued to scam us for up to a period of probably time when it's 9 months for delivery. Only God knows. He will now go and bring a baby from somewhere for us.
Oh my gosh.
So the truth is that in the course of waiting, in the course of delay, the truth is that, like I said, you lose your senses. Simple things that ordinarily, if you are not going through such, you'll be able to reason it and just tell the person, get out. The truth is that because you are desperate, because you want this thing to happen, the truth is that all your common senses, you lose them. That is it. That is it. So like I said, so when you talk of the Bible, the likes of Hannah, the likes of Rachel, when Rachel also waited. So you see, you find that waiting is not an easy thing. It takes the grace of God, and not the grace of God. That the grace of God supersedes everything. But the couples must have that understanding. They must not see it that it is. They must not be divided. That's what I would say. They must not be divided, because the truth is that our waiting makes me and Emily, our bond, to be stronger. We saw it as a common problem. We never apportion problem and say, oh, you are responsible. Oh, my body is good. Your body is not good, or thereabout. We saw it as a common problem. And the truth is that we were there for one another. I defend her, she defends me, and everything. So the truth is that the enemy couldn't penetrate us. That I would just tell you. We build a wall a solid wall built on the love of God, built on the word of God, and the enemy could not penetrate us. So, so I would just say that is my experience.
Fantastic. My brother, you've spoken, you have answered all the questions I have in mind to ask you. You've answered everything. And you know, when you were talking, you know, I know you now.
Yes.
And as you're talking, to be honest, I was just holding back tears, you know. Now, just quickly, for anyone who is watching us, the topic for today is scaling through the discomfort of a long wait. And my special guest today is pastor, father, husband, lawyer, and businessman, Mr. Benjamin Atebe. And he had to wait for 18 years before his wife was, or rather before they were able to have a biological child. And the interesting thing was that it was 18, yeah? 18 years. So the child was born on the 18th of the 18th, 2018. The
child was born on the 18th of a month. So 18 years, in the 18th year of our waiting, the child was born on the 18th of a month. That is why.
That's what I'm saying now. Yeah. 18, it's smarter than me, I know. Yeah. Was I not there? So you can be a part of this conversation by leaving your questions, your opinions, your commentaries, and my brother and friend, Mr. Benjamin Atebe, would answer them. So Ben, I have a question here. Let me just quickly, I have a contribution or something. Let me just check. Yeah?
Okay.
Now, the couple, somebody says the couple must not be divided. Build a solid wall on the word and on the love of God. Exactly. Now, Ben, you've made several, like as you were speaking, I was just writing. I was writing and writing and writing because you have touched on, without even just asking you, you touched on all of the questions that I was going to ask you. But the thing that I really want to ask you, and that was your opening statement, you said that waiting is very, very difficult because in the process of waiting, you don't know what you have to do. Should you just stand and wait, or would you just stay action? Stay action meaning be doing something as you wait along, yeah? So in your own case, you didn't allow your life to change because you said waiting kind of like, you know, puts your life on hold. Every other thing you leave because you're waiting on one particular thing. And that kind of like takes over your life, yeah?
Yeah. In my instance and my wife's instance, even though we were waiting for that particular thing, which is a child in our marriage, the truth is that we were still doing other things. My wife, I allowed her, I said, look, one thing I told my wife, I said, look, in your career, you have my support. Wherever you want to aspire to get to, go get it, baby. And I remember during that period, we have to put money together. She went to Harvard and everything and all that. So I was pushing her because she would want to say, all this, I will push her. When some things in her office will come, I will push her. I say, come on, your life must not be on hold. We don't have a child yet. So I think those are some of the things that we did. And even me, myself, I continued because really the burden is more on the woman. So the truth is that I have to be, I was my wife number one fan when it comes to her career. I've been her number one fan. So I push her anywhere, this and that. I said, don't let anybody, if they like, let them say, what are you working for? And you don't have a child yet. I say, come on, you go and get it.
Fantastic. I know you now. I know that's what the kind of thing that you can do, you know. Now, I want to ask you this question. You know, Pastor Femi Atoyebi, your senior colleague, was here last week. And, you know, we talked about somehow the conversation tilted towards waiting for the fruit of the womb and all of that. And there are some things that he said that I found very interesting. So for example, he was saying that there are some times when, you know, he said, when you have faith, act on your faith. Buy, you know, children, babies' clothing, do up your children's room and stuff like that. Did you do all of that?
Ibi, the truth is that, yes, my wife did, but the truth is that I didn't really believe in it.
Okay.
I just believe that if God wants to, when the time comes, God will answer. Yes, my wife did. Yeah, so you know, like I've said, you know, when you are waiting, anything anybody says, you what?
Yeah.
You are susceptible to follow the crowd at any point in time. Or you know,
yeah.
when my wife, I mean, like I said, I wanted her to be happy. So when she comes, at times she will come, she'll buy baby things. I just laugh. I say, okay, all right, okay, it's good. But one thing I just try to ensure that she doesn't lose her sanity, because the truth is that there's a thin line. There's a thin line between losing your sanity and actually acting in faith or putting your faith to work by that way. That's the truth, because some people will say they are putting their faith to work and they lose their sanity and they begin to see an imaginary child that they do not have. So that's it. That's a very, very, I must say, but I think people have lost their sanity based on that, because it's a thin line. It's a very thin line, I must say.
And this is so heavy, you know. If you're watching, and you can be a part of this conversation by leaving a comment in the comment section below, your comments, your contributions, your experience. And please, I'd like you to kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel, Ibinabo and Enebi. If you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe. Then I want to put some structure to our conversation, because you've mentioned so many things. There's a lot of nuggets, you know, all around the conversation, but I want to put structure to it so that we'll be able to have specifics, what we can take away from the conversation. So I know you've said it before, but for somebody who wants to get sharp, you know, nuggets. Now, the next thing I'm going to ask you is that, so what was the lowest point during your waiting period?
Okay. The lowest point during my waiting period was the issue of, one of them was the issue of that man who took advantage of us.
Okay, the fraud.
The fraud. It's not the money, but that.
Yeah, the fraud.
And I think the other lowest point was I would say the challenge coming from my mom, because it affected our relationship. So I think it was a very, very low point for me. The one from friends, or when I see people I suspect they're doing this, they never really bothered me that much. But like I said, that man, my issue of my relationship with my mom, and I think one day I remember vividly, because I believe that it had at about 2-3 weeks or thereabout, my wife had not seen her period. So I was already being very happy. And I remember I was in Victoria Island. I think I went for a meeting or thereabout. I think I was on Moshood Olugbani. I remember very well, Moshood Olugbani Street in Victoria Island. And my wife called, and she said, so, you know, I think she was in a bank or somewhere then, I think Virginia or somewhere. And she called and said, he said, well, I said, happily, I picked that call and everything. He said, he said that she just went to the toilet now and that she's seen her period. And that she's seen her period. Oh my God, I cried.
Ouch. The line is breaking, Ben. But Ben, the line is breaking.
I cried, for almost like 30 minutes before I had to encourage my wife and everything. So that's one of those things.
You know, another guest was here. Actually, I went to visit her over the weekend. For 20 years, she was waiting for the fruit of the womb, and she had multiple miscarriages, sometimes 6 miscarriages in a year. And she finally got pregnant with twins. and she had a threatened miscarriage. And as she was talking, at that point, I got very emotional because she was crying and I was like, chill. I went to see the kids, lovely. And, and she kept on talking about her husband and how her husband supported her. And, when you have said that you cried, it touched me, because sometimes as women, we always think that our husbands are superheroes, they are strong and all of that, so for the fact that it touched you shows your humanity. And at that point, what did you do?
Like I said, after crying, I had to encourage her to leave the line so that she won't, my cry will not trigger anything. I cried, parked my car, cried, called on God, shouted and everything. Then after I pulled myself back, I had to call her to encourage her. Then I think I went to her office, took her out for lunch that day. I think that's what I did.
I have a question here for you. I have a question. Okay. Let me see. Now, I know you've already answered it, but you have to answer this person because some people joined when you were talking. Okay. It says, was there any family pressures from either or two of the families? If yes, how did you handle such? Pardon me if he answered the question in the conversation. Of course, the network wasn't strong.
Okay, I will answer that quickly. I think the only pressure was from my own side. There wasn't pressure from my wife's side. There was more understanding from my mother-in-law and my in-laws. But the main pressure was on my side. And like I said earlier before, how did I cope? I stood like the rock of Gibraltar, to defend my wife. I fend off anybody. I was like a mother hen, a mother hen that protects her chick. So you dare not come near my wife. So I remember telling them, look, you want to talk to my wife, talk to me.
I love the way you said it. Now I want to ask another question. It says, and again, you have answered it, but I just want to put structure. So how did you find the courage and strength to go on being the man in the family? Because you remember you said you cried. So you called on God. So after that, being the man in the family, how did you find the strength and courage to go on?
Yeah, the truth is that after those low moments here and there, the truth is that I just pull myself together because I just believe that that is not the end of the world, because that's just my belief. It's not the end of the world. That not having a child yet doesn't make me less of a person, and also my wife not less of a person. So like I've said before, so with that in mind, and I made my wife to understand that, we continue to forge on with our life. We continue to pursue the things that we want to pursue. We continue to be happy. We continue to enjoy ourselves as much as we can.
Fantastic. Now, I want to ask you this question. What were the most antiquated things that people said to you?
Antiquated, if I understand you very well, yes. I think one of those that they've said to me is first, which I've said, okay, Benji, go and try another woman. That was one of that. Whether you try another woman and all that stuff. And even from my father, even though that they were not married together, my issue was not like now a unifying point for them, not unifying that for a true sense of concern for them to encourage me or my wife, but they kind of to attack us, make sure to try and make our life a bit uncomfortable. Maybe they think that when they do that, it will make me to heed to their so-called suggestion and everything. Unfortunately, the more they tried, the more stronger I am. And the more I love my wife more and more. So the truth is that, yes, all sort of suggestions, even telling me about particular ladies or whatever. And I just look at them and I laugh and I tell them, say, look, don't bother wasting your time, because this, your son, is not going to what? Even listen to you. Like when they talk, they will call me for a meeting. I remember my mom saying, oh, I should come and see her in Kaduna. Oh, if not, she would die. I said, oh, okay, no problem. If you die, I'll bury you.
Ha!
No, you have to be strong. I'm telling anybody, if you're going through it, don't let sentiment move you. Don't let anybody's sentiment. You just have to be strong. Don't fall for sentiments. So those are one of the things they were telling me. I remember it, how I'll say it in the course of.
Somebody here, there's a comment here says, Pastor Ben is inspiring. And I want to know how he maintains balance and still stayed focused in business and career, even when in the weight. Yeah.
I will answer that question. Yeah, first and foremost, I always say grace of God first. But humanly speaking, because the truth is that, you see, like I said, my background coming from a polygamous home, I don't know how many people have come from polygamous home and everything. There's this, would I say competition or thereabout? So not really competition. But for me, I have been the unifying factor for all the children. And even though we are not of the same mother and everything, and I think because of that, maybe 1, 2, 3 of my siblings, I don't want to use the word hate, because hate is a very strong word. They seem to dislike me, because all my siblings, there's nobody that did not pass through my house, that I did not harbor, that did not render one assistance to. So the truth is that I knew that to remain focused, and wasn't going to call on anybody to come and feed me and my wife. So we just have to continue to forge. And we believe, the truth is that I believe that somehow, I had it at the back of my mind that our children will come, either biological or other way. So we must give them something so that we'll be able to take care of them. And I thank God that now the children had come, and there is something to take good care of them. So if I was not focused, if we're not focused, if we're not working, if we put our life on hold because of the fact that we're waiting for children, only God knows when God had answered now. The next problem would have been that, well, we don't have money to take care of these children that we've been waiting for years.
Yeah, that's true. So you said children, you have more than one child?
Yeah, I have 2.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Now, I know that you have a limited time, so I wouldn't take much time, but I want to ask you this question. Now, assuming there is somebody who's watching today and he's experiencing the discomfort of a long wait, give us actionable steps, what he needs to do quickly.
Yeah, the first thing I was, like I said, is that first and foremost, you must form a very good unity of love, unity of purpose with his or her spouse.
Okay.
They must have a common purpose. Then they must grow above sentiment, whether sentiment from parents that will tell you, oh, you see, I'm talking to you, like, you see, you women, mothers are very funny of trying to blackmail children. Hey, I carried you for 9 months. You suck my breast, and I am talking to you. You are not listening to me. Man, you grow above sentiment. You are no longer a baby. You are a man, or you are a woman. You are not 18. And that's what I always tell myself. I'm not 18. So you can't come and tell me I'm a man, a full-grown man that can take decisions for myself. So grow above sentiment. If not, the truth is that if you are one of those who fall for sentiment, you will not be able to go through the whole horde when you experience delay. Don't fall for sentiment. Okay? Then trust God. That's one thing I will tell you. Trust God. Trust God. As much as possible, be focused. When I mean focused, don't live. Continue to live. Continue to live as much as you can.
As much as you can. What about, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
What about your association? The people you associate yourself with? Because I hear that as a common denominator. Krista Durojai talked about, having a tribe of people that encourage you. Pastor Femi also talked about having a positive, set of people around you. So
yeah, Ivy, I will tell you, it's good to have people. It's like I always say, maybe me at times, I won't say suspicious, but whatever. The truth that, like in the course of waiting, some people are genuine. Like I say, some people just want to make a mockery of you, all pretending to be very, very positive. So the truth is that I wasn't particularly interested in associating with only those who dare to encourage me. There are those who, at times, they could say anything, who I would say are not so tactful in what they say. So maybe at times when they speak, they could hurt your feelings. But like I say, it's all part of it. That is the truth. Maybe because I've been able to overcome it now, but the truth is that it's all part of it. If you are looking for only one particular section of people to associate with, the truth is that you will not be able to appreciate the reality of delay.
That is deep. That is so deep. Now, let me just see if you have any questions, any comments, please feel free. Now, I have a question here. What were your favorite scriptures during your wait? And what journal would you recommend?
Okay, so I will say that I did not have I can't really pinpoint any favorite scripture, but one of the scriptures that appeals to me today in every circumstance, whether secular anything I'm doing, is that I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me.
So once again, I want to say thank you everyone for joining us. Please, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe. It's Ibinabo Enebi. And if you like this video, I'd like you to kindly share it and like it. And
before we go off air, I just want to tell people that the interesting thing that after waiting and when my wife became pregnant, you will say ordinarily when she took in that we'll be careful and all that. But the truth is that, and that's when I really know that that it is the manifestation of the glory of God. All through when my wife was pregnant, she continued to go to work because I was already saying, let me just ship her out of Nigeria to maybe America or somewhere where she will give better medical attention and everything. But my wife continued to work. We will say, oh, we will do it. And she was going to work and everything. And I think maybe I would say God just wanted some people to know, because before people would say, oh, did you see her pregnant? Did you see her this? Did you see this and that? So quite a lot of people, even those that have, that I know that has made some very snide comments in the past.
Snide comments,
yeah. They saw my wife pregnant. It's like, you mean it? Some people came, they looked and everything. So it was something not for one day where there was any scare of my wife losing the pregnancy all through the period. So I really give God praise. I give him all the glory. She will work till maybe about 6, 7 at times because of the nature of her job, even with stress and everything, but everything not for one day. So, and I really bless God for it.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic so much, my brother. It's so encouraging and, to hear you say this. And I am like, I haven't seen baby. And she's how old is she now? She's almost 5, yeah?
She's 5. She's on 5.
You didn't tell her that she has Auntie-Ibi. Yeah?
Of course.
You didn't tell her?
Of course. It's your wedding anniversary that she turned 5.
Oh, you see? Yeah, I know. Like I said, I am delighted. But Ben, you're owing me an article.
Oh, okay. I will.
These things that you say, you have to write it so that people will read it.
Okay, I will.
When are you going to, let me commit you now. Gunpoint. When are you going to read that?
Don't commit me, but
like
you said, like your brother testified the testimony that your brother has said about me. Believe me, when I say I will do it.
Bam! I believe you. Okay. I believe you so much. Right. So my brother and my friend. And
thank you, all those that have tuned in to hear my story. The truth is that I remember one time, evangelist Banji actually said I should come and give these words, and I've been running away from it, but I don't know how Ibi were able to make me to do it. I must say that
you were trying to hide. you were trying to scare me. You were trying to do this one, that one. I mean, I didn't answer you. I said you. I know how to get you. I didn't even answer you. You were trying to do hard man. Doing push. Shay, you have come. I know you now.
He asked me several times, let me come out to his program to come and do it, but somehow I wasn't just feeling up to it. But thank you, Ibi, for giving me the opportunity. I believe that there will be someone out there that probably this will encourage, and this will also kind of strengthen you. If you're going through delay, what I will tell you as I leave is that, look, my brother, my sister, you just have to be strong. Don't listen to sentiments. Sentiments will weaken you any day. So please try and live above sentiments, try and live above culture, try and live above traditions and all that stuff. Okay, God bless you.
Ben, I have one more question to ask you, but I don't know. It just pops in my brain. What if somebody doesn't have a child at all at the end?
What if someone doesn't have a child at the end?
Doesn't, yes, like so biology takes over and everything takes over.
Yeah, the truth is, like I tell you, when in the course of delay, like I said, we were no longer, I wasn't eager any longer. I was ready to live through life like that. But God answered when I didn't expect it. One thing that I will tell that one of the biggest testimonies after my wife got pregnant and gave birth to a baby girl is that in the process, we met people of her age bracket, because my wife was over 40, was over 45 when we had Jojo. So you can see that the calendar was a bit far gone. And in the process, the organization, I don't want to mention his name, when I think she just joined that organization in less than 6 months or thereabout that when she took it, and only to find out that there were also people of our age bracket who were waiting or trusting God. And somehow, as if God used my wife, I can tell you that 2 of the ladies got pregnant. Even one, I think, is older than my wife. And they all have children today, because it's like they felt encouraged. And when my wife and everything, they were always going to me. I once said my wife was a kind of a point of contact to her and everything. And so.
Fantastic. So encouraging and so good to hear. So once again, thank you everyone for being here.
Thank you very much. Ibi, I have to run. The people
I know. So bye. Bye.